Are we fucking Gucci or not? Or not? Or not? Probably a little quiet. Probably a little quiet. Probably think I'm on crack. I think my door's closed, but still. Are we Gucci or no? Or no? Fuck it, right? Fuck it. Fuck it. Goddamn. Goddamn. Get a link for this thing and get going. Pixel perfect. Don't need to update our levels. Interesting morning, right? Interesting morning so far. Yeah, I mean, in terms of getting caught up real quick, so it was looking good, right? Kind of failing up here, starting to change structure, and then tap the naked point of control and down only ever since. So yeah, if you took this short, shout out to you. We also talked about this, right? The whole idea of like coming up, letting it lose the VWAP, and then like break down again. So if you had taken the short down here, you'd be in this thing juicing as well. So feeling this following along, shout out to you. I just got into this thing, right, guys? Like, I don't know how else to fucking say at this point, right? Pixel, perfect. So yeah, hoping to TP when we get to the VWAP and kind of let it go from there, see what happens. Dun 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 dun. Other than that, nothing too particularly interesting going on, right? Eli Lilly is looking somewhat strong, but we'll see how that progresses. Everything else kind of rolling over. Dun, dun, dun. Got out of the Tesla thing, break even. And yeah, the Google one, I ended up canceling my orders. We haven't broken the low yet to like this level we were talking about. But the thing is, like, I don't know if I'm trying to take this, to be honest. The fact that we're like sitting here consolidating right above the level even more is like makes me paranoid. Maybe down here or something deeper. Yeah. And it's like a Friday, right? So boom, boom, boom. Is there anything else we need to catch up on? Anything else that we discussed? Oh, no. I mean, this thing's still holding up, so no change from yesterday there. Oh yeah, and the oil. We're right at my alarm right now. It's a tricky spot. Like I want to hold it up to the target. But like if this ends up being the high and we like roll over for real, kind of be giving a lot back, right? At this point, if we like shave here at these alarms, I'll probably take some off if we start to lose this level, to be honest. And if we start to reclaim shit from there, then like, okay, I'll add back. Probably something like that. Probably something like that. Let me just make sure everything is Gucci. I need to go. I'm gonna see what they want to eat for lunch. I'm kind of just gonna buy everybody lunch. I'm a nice guy, right? Gonna order some grub for everybody. Okay, okay. We should be chilling in this regard. I'm gonna go do that, and then I'll come back, get caught up and see what everything else is doing.
Market open, market open. Open.
Walk, walk, up at the mouth, is the mouth. Get him! The mouth is the mouth. Walk, walk, up at the mouth, is the mouth. Up at the mouth, is the mouth. Got him! Got him. Wake up in the penthouse, sun high in the sky. Blowing on these as I watching candles fly high. Retail traders panicking, them looking for a sign. But me already entered, me just chilling on the line. Value area higher, we break it with a grin. While them longing at the top, that's a digital sin. Me barely even looking, just a glance at the screen. I perform in Wall Street, if you know what me mean. Me eyes a bit red, but the vision is clear. Me see the liquidity, me don't feel it fear. 618 top, yes, pixel perfect. Tell the haters move, them budget is worthless. Got 'em! The math is the math. Yeah, the math is the math. Me riding the wave, clearing on the path. High energy living, elite level play. Me print more money in an hour than your day. Easy money, baby, we don't even sweat. Funding the Bugatti with your biggest regret. The map is the map, and we move like a boss. Island rhythm while we feeding them the love. You got 786, watch it bounce, watch it kick. Me executing orders while me lighting up the stick. Me have the exotic fleet, matte block, yeah them sleek. Wall Street, them envious, them strategy is weak. Delta is killing me, collect the premium slow. But me move fast like the Ferrari ready for the show. Options and the Greeks, yeah me speaking like a tongue. We trading at the top while the losers get hung. Surgical. The mouth is the mouth. Loud smoke, the mouth is the mouth. Loud smoke, the mouth is the mouth. 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 Yeah, the mouth is the mouth. Me riding the wave, clearing all the path. High energy living, elite level play. Me print more money in an hour than your day. Easy money, baby, we don't even sweat. Fun in the Bugatti with your biggest regret. Higher than the clouds, lower than your stop loss. The math is the math. You get got. Backlash traders. Bumbleclad traders.
Okay, okay. We gotta order some food. Order some food. God damn. God damn. God damn. You really raise the prices on this shit. Okay. So we ordered a massive platter of fajitas for everybody. Damn near $150. God damn. God damn. On top of the cleaning fee. God damn. Hello, sir. Is that the VWAP channel? Like the green thing? Yeah. It is just the VWAP with the bands on it. Like I track both. Like this is just like the one band, but on here I have like the 3 standard deviations on it. Yeah. And this is like the daily VWAP. This is like the weekly, and this is like the monthly. The equivalent is true for the volume profiles. Did it get filled? Did it get filled or not? Or not? Okay, nice. Let's see if this thing can actually start going now. I think that's it, right? I don't think we gotta do too much else today. Dun 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 dun. I guess I didn't give this much thought, but like, there's a role where we can start adding to this trade, right? If it starts going again. Suppose we actually do just sweep this and go. Well, I'm not gonna get too crazy yet. I want to like give it breathing room. I want to be too mindful of that thing. Dun 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 dun. Boom, 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 boom. Interesting. Interesting. This thing's finally breaking out of our level. God damn, god damn. That makes sense. Made your own soundtrack? Yeah, I have like a whole ass playlist. Like they all just say like, you know, they have the shout out at the start.
Marcos Trays.
Shout to the math. Shout to the AI
You
math.
don't believe
The
the math did.
We'll leave that a little lower. Mr. Vex, up and at it in the daytime. I see you. I see you.
us a lesson, paid a very heavy price. Months of reading all the flow before it
Shout out to all the people grinding.
moved so cold and so equipped, wasn't overnight,
We never left our red box down here.
darkest rooms,
Or at least like the medium time frame one.
now the silence is
363307.
Made it out the grind with nobody watching.
Okay.
Penthouse now, but remember when I had nothing. Surgical precision, every entry calculated. They slept on the vision, now they standing there and waited.
cold execution, build it from the bottom. Every sleepless night is something.
63561.
Execution, math was my religion. Not a Bugatti sitting pretty. That's the only decision. They laughed at the screens I had mounted on the wall. Risk management spreadsheets covering the hall. Back testing every setup while they party through the night. Reading institutional footprints underneath the light. VY
636.
open bell. 0.5 retracements. Knew those levels well. 618.
Yeah, looking sus. Looking pretty sus. We'll say that. I mean, we were talking about this like throughout the whole week, but yeah, like you really did not want to be losing this level right here, right? And they tried. They tried. They tried.
They want the penthouse view without the lonely nights. Without the
They did try. But yeah. Looking a little sus.
wasn't overnight, wasn't luck either. Was the darkest rooms. Being my
Dun, 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 dun. How's the higher time frame looking?
when the doubt was loudest. Now the silence
That's the other thing. It's like right at the point of control, like both the volume, right?
Nobody watching, nobody. Penthouse now, but remember when I had nothing. Surgical
Anyways, we'll see. We talked about this in the Discord, but like the whole idea of like this Head and Shoulders printing down here. We did cover this already. Where is it? Like this whole thing.
is something they forgot about. Cold execution.
We did talk about this, so still a chance to hold it because it is a bit suspicious of leaving it behind like this, right? With all the liquidity right there.
Just me and the order book.
Whatever. No guarantees that this has to get like tapped, right? At the end of the day.
Cried over losses. Never gave up. Myself the math.
Would be nice though, right? Kind of wash out all the longs down here, and then like get the FOMC pump going or something next week.
Never saw the pain.
Close out all these late longers.
They only see the change. But I remember every loss, every night. Cold execution built this from when nothing was right.
613.
Made it out the ground with nobody watching. Nobody. Penthouse now, but remember when I had nothing.
Yeah, and there's like a massive liquidation right here too.
Slept on the vision, now they standing there.
Some math looking like on that. Right, the golden pocket, right, the value area low. And it's like this monthly level. Where's the old value range? Yeah, like right, the value area low, both these clusters. Interesting zone, to say the least.
Built it anyway.
To say the least.
Cold execution.
Lyrics are a banger. Yeah. Yeah, some of them are pretty good. Some of them are like meh.
They'll never understand the grind.
Yeah, some of them are pretty vibey.
The math always knew.
So I have like a bunch of different genres too. And the thing is, there's so many. I have like literally like a 1,000 songs. Like there's so many of them.
Marcus trips.
I made a bunch last year for the stream.
The math is the math.
So that was like season 1. And then when I was not streaming recently, like in the spring, I made like another shit ton of songs. So this is like season 2 of them. I haven't put them all into a playlist yet. That's the problem.
The math is the math.
Yeah, they're good vibes. They're good vibes. Actually, I listen to more than regular music. Like when I'm driving around, I'm listening to this shit.
Ice and burning, but the charts staying cold. 61.8, yeah, the level gonna hold. Palm trees leaning while I'm leaning on the
The funny thing too is like a lot of these songs are Like they're about a certain topic about trading. Like put your stop loss break even, or like take profit, or like don't long the top. Like just random shit like that, right? So it kind of like just brainwashes you as you're listening to it. Of good trading habits.
I don't need the office, I just need the skill. Red stripe chilling at the lemons on the rim. Market makers
Nice, nice.
surgical with entries, call it digital grace. Even no footprints, even no trace. From the chemist to the crib, yeah, the legacy is set. Waking up the profit on the data driven back.
Longs look promising on ES futures. I'll look at it in a sec. I just got filled on this thing. Like I haven't set any targets yet. Like I shaved that VWAP just to like take some off the table, but I haven't like set any actual targets. I think waiting for up here would be quite greedy, to be honest. Most likely it will be up here, kind of like this whole back test. Clean this poor high and kind of go from there. Oil broke our level. Yeah, I'm gonna go take some off of this. Secure a little bit of the bag, you know? Okay. If it starts to reclaim some of this stuff, we'll add back. We'll leave like an alarm up here. Don't want to round trip too much. ES futures.
5 a.m. in the penthouse suite. Pixel perfect, feel the heat. Value area Matt is the king up on the throne. POC, the center of gravity. Trading on data, escaping depravity. You're long in the work, you're losing your head.
I mean, I guess it depends how you got filled, kind of thing. Like, I wouldn't be longing like at this point. Like, you missed it, at least for a while how I trade. Dun, dun, dun. Seven 430, I got filled. Yeah, in that case, you're kind of like chilling at this point. Yeah, like, I mean, we're talking about this. I think you were here the day that we were talking about the option stuff. But it did seem like this kind of move was getting like priced in, at least like according to like the current options at the time. Like just sell off into the end of the week and then like reclaim it and go. And like by the end of like by Friday next week, the people were like pricing something up here. So yeah, potentially, right? Potentially. But level to level. First thing, you gotta get past this bad boy right there. And so far, this thing got spanked that single print big soul perfect, kind of just heading back lower. So let me turn this off. Dun, 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 dun. And like ideally kind of like start going away from the value area high up here if it is going to retrace in the lower time frame. Kind of just bounces and goes. We shall see. Dun, 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 dun. How's this stuff looking? Also, like quite a big gap to fill, right? Like we are heading into the gap right now. Ideally, you can start to close inside the gap. Like it is a bit suspicious that you just kind of whipped into it and immediately came back. Yeah, I mean, at this point, you're in for the ride, right? Just gotta manage risk and chill. It's a swing trade.
Santorini sunset, Santorini sunset, laptop on the wood.
Yeah, but it's like you have like a pretty good entry. Like if you like leave your stop break even, like it's basically the invalidation anyways. Maybe you could have shaved some at the single print.
While I'm checking on the Greeks, then I check him again. Theaters on our side, yeah, we're soaking up the sun. By the time the candle closes, yeah,
That way you can like secure the bag. Or like just have your break even stop like lower. Like instead of having it at like wherever it may be, depending on, because like you guys don't have like a quite low fees, right?
we just ride the volatility like a tyro. From Bali to Ibiza, yeah, the view is elite. Watching all the top longest facing defeat. The math is the math, yeah, the math is the math. Living my best life. Clearing out the path. Exotic locations, get the energy right. Printing all the blue while we're dancing through the night.
Yeah.
Easy money, baby, and a girl is divine. Levels on the screen,
So for me, like it depends what kind of entry I got and when the retrace is starting,
exotic vehicles parked out.
and if I was able to shave or not.
Moving through the land, implied volatility. Yeah,
Like if I entered like here somewhere and it's like starting to pull back already, or like, or I would have shaved here to have like a better stop, break even stop. But if I got in like right at the bottom, then like I'm not really bothering. But I am gonna shave just to have some like profit. I usually break even or secure percentage profit depending on what the 4 hour is looking at.
living my best life. Clearing out the path. Exotic locations, yeah, the energy is right. Printing all the blue while we're dancing through the night. Easy money, baby, and the girl is divine. Levels on the screen and the hand is in mine.
Fair, fair. I mean, each to their own. Each to their own. Yeah, I don't think we need to.
Marco's trades. The math is the math. I can't get it out of my
Okay, we're good. Good. But food's gonna be here pretty soon, actually. And they're almost done. They're almost done. About to have a pixel perfect clean house. When 4 hour looks bullish, I can chill and work my way up the time frames. Scale in out accordingly. That's fair. That's fair. And this thing that was like us going, right? I'd be pretty curious up here. Boom, 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 boom. So how's a higher time frame looking? 7525. Yeah, same zone. This nigga point of control will be like quite interesting. And it also would be like the gap fill essentially on like the cash session. It'd be nice if this thing start going. Be fucking nice. Feels kind of bad. I was gonna trade from like way down here on this, and I got closed it almost up here, and then like this thing came down and got the rest. Now it's like starting to go again. So we are trying to weasel our way back in. Anyways, we'll see. 755 is what I'm closely going to watch. 755. I mean, like all these levels are pretty like this whole range is pretty interesting, right? In terms of like the higher time frame impulse. This is like basically the golden pocket. Like you kind of want to get the zone flipped if you're bullish. Dun, 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 dun. Hope it works out well. I just don't know if we're going to be getting like too much like directional volatility before FOMC. Like, I don't think. I mean, I guess we'll see, right? Because I guess he did say that they don't really plan on giving much like forward guidance anymore. But kind of maybe he says like something that kind of triggers the market start trending in some direction. Oh fuck, I'm so stupid. Whatever. The question is, do I want to scale into this trade more, right? If we start to reclaim like the previous day low in the daily open. Yes, we're down to monthly open. We're down to monthly open. I'm confused. I mean, go up to the monthly open? Look, we're below it right now. Seven, 3, 6, 9. What? What are you talking about? Look at it. It opened that. Look at the open price. 7543. Like 7 days left in this candle.
scratching their heads. We're in the golden pocket, tucking top long as the bed. It's a unit, it's a squad, every
Unless I'm missing something.
moving as a shadow, tell me what that's like. They trade on the feeling, we trade on the Greeks. They're looking for a hero, we're looking for the leaks. Implied volatility, we're selling them the dream while we're stacking up the blue, the elite level.
Also, like, regardless of whatever level you're referring to, it's like,
We're moving as a unit, clearing up the path.
that's a bit of a weird statement to say, right? Like, oh, I thought it would go to the monthly open. Like, why? Like, what reasoning is there for that?
Running the whole
Like, at the end of the day, it's just a level of interest, but it's not like magnetically just drawn there.
yeah, you got 'em. Ferraris in a line, yeah, we move like a convoy. You're playing with your rent, we're playing with the
Previous month low.
outside, watching premiums decay while you're short in the bottom, having such a bad day. The Zaza's in the air, but the focus is precise. Never ask the market, we just dictate.
I mean, it's a little lower than that.
But they balance is a joke. We're signing off
Lower than that.
going for broke. Locked in,
Yeah, someone was in here yesterday kind of talking about the same level of interest though. Like they were talking about just like fair value gap. Which in reality, like I probably should have been a bit more explicit to them. 'Cause, like I said that I don't like use that stuff, but like
running the whole game, keeping it discreet.
the idea of a fair value gap on the monthly chart is like a bit weird, right? Like at the end of the day, like what is really a fair value gap? It's like when price had like a bunch of aggression to one side and like the orders on the other side got like skipped. But like on a monthly candle, it's not real, right? Because if you actually drill into the lower time frames, there's like tons of like price like filling all the orders. Like it's not like this is like a 1 minute candle or like a tick chart kind of thing. I don't do ICT stuff. Yeah, me neither. I've never I don't even know who the guy was until like I already like knew how to trade more or less.
From the charts to the rate. Yeah, we measure percent. Then I peel, stay so clean, look how it feels.
The fair value gap essentially low volume nodes.
Fibonacci in my scope, 6-1, that's how we float. They chase green,
I mean, yes, but and there's more to it than that. Like,
value area low, that's a quiet storm. Delta pop, I'm already on. One click, hold move.
okay, in the order book, there's a bunch of buy limits, right? Like as price is going up, there's like buy limits under the price building and building and building. But because there's so many people that are like marketing in aggressively, like it never retraces into any of these limits. So there's like a big cluster of orders that got left behind unfilled.
I never flinch, they play hope, I play clinch. Hit that level, then I peel, stay so clean, look how
That's like a lot of times that'll like retrace into it, like fill all the orders, and then it'll go.
Fibonacci in my scope.
And there's like lots of reasoning for that. Like market makers like make money on the swaps, right? So they're incentivized to like fill those orders.
VWAP hood when I'm in my throne. Footprint chart, I decode tones. Every candle speaking code. Break that high, I let it run. Pull back sweet, then I
And then not only that, but then there's like the whole like self-fulfilling prophecy of discretionary traders all looking at the same thing, all targeting it as well.
confident. TP3, I reinvent. I ain't hope I analyze. Big boy size, don't fantasize.
But yeah, like it is like similar. Like typically where you have a fair value gap or like an imbalance like that,
Stack so clean, look how it feel. Previous day, caught that week, not a bag.
there's gonna be like a low volume node, right?
618, that's how we float.
Like usually like the volume nodes builds with time as like more people are transacting back and forth.
Still guessing, that's they fault. We play edges, they play cold. I trade facts, no need to hold. Nah.
That's the thing, like the ICT stuff, like from everything I've seen, he's just taking like other concepts that already exist and just like rebranded it with some like slapped on label terminology and act like it's some crazy shit. But I don't know like enough about like all the different terms he uses. Like with like a silver bullet, like I have no clue what that is. So I can't like opine one way or the other. Rebranding. Yeah. Seemingly seems to be the case. Dun, 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 dun. Whatever. Like, there's people that. I'll say this, regardless of what people think of that guy. Like, obviously, there are people, some people, that use those strategies to trade effectively. The way I see it, like, as long as you have some like systematic process that's like repeatable and you can like build off of, then like whatever, props to you. If it happens to be ICT, so be it. Yeah. But I suspect most people that do that though are like not making money. Like order blocks are supply demand zones that had a prior sweep of liquidity. Bit too rigged. I just never even bothered. But I already knew what I was doing by the time I found out that guy even existed. Then I went to his YouTube channel and there's like, I don't know, like hundreds of like multi-hour long videos. I'm like, yeah, I'm not watching that. I'm not fucking watching that. I'm not watching that. Oh, what? First time trading, I used VWAP 100 EMA. Pretty good. I've always gravitated to VWAP pretty early on. Well, just like such like VWAP is VWAP, right? Everyone has the same VWAP. And also like it's used in a lot of like algorithmic execution. Whereas like when you start to get into like, oh, using like the 21 EMA versus like the 20 SMA, or like the 55 SMA versus the 50 SMA, etc. Start to like add like needless variance almost. At the end of the day, the more people that are looking at the same thing, the better it is. And they're more likely to be seeing the same trade as you are. So if you're using these like random niche things, like, and then you're like, oh wow, price didn't bounce off my like 167 SMA. Like, what do you expect? Yeah, like the 50 to 200, the 100, all quite common. I've never been really a big EMA trader though. I just started playing around with like SMAs and the low time frame EMAs a bit more like intently lately. And it's more so just to understand how people trade these like themselves, right? The kind of setups they look for in the daily. Like all these like swing traders that are doing like the United States Investment Championship, because they all trade the same way. All of them trade the same fucking way. They're all using the EMAs with like stage 1 to 4 trends. I was like, okay, let me like nerd out exactly what they look for, and that way if there's a confluence with the kind of stuff they do and I'm doing, then like perfect, even better. I don't think it's ideal though, say that. Like this Oracle trade, right? If you're an EMA trader, you never would have gotten into this trade the way I did. Like I literally got in down to the fucking pixel on this thing. And if you're like an EMA trader, like waiting for this to happen, like, oh, you get like the 620 flip or the VWAP reclaim, like you're just getting in now. And there's like a pretty realistic world where this thing just rolls over. Whereas like I'm in from here, took profit here already, and now whatever happens, like I don't give a fuck. If you want to see it, the market will show you what you want to see. Yeah, that too. That too. That too. That's the other thing is when you're like looking at like so many things at once, you're like bound to have like something confirming whatever bias you're leaning into. I like to use limit order at certain price levels backed by reason. Yeah. Really depends though, because sometimes like you will end up missing it doing that. Because like, you have to think about what other people are doing. Like they'll be sitting here looking at this on like the 1 minute. Like let's say price is like nuking, right? Like they'll be sitting here like looking at the price nuking down, and they'll be like watching the DOM. And as soon as you get like a break to the upside and there's like a huge volume spike, and people are just like all smashing that entry. And if your level is like right below it, and it just so happens to pivot before that, then you're gonna get missed out on it. Whatever, it's fine, right? At the end of the day, it's who cares? Don't need to catch every single trade. You're gonna infinite amount of them. Dun. Where's this thing? Yeah, I don't know. Me personally, I think it always feels nice when you have like a limit. If you have your trade planned and prepared, right? You know exactly what you're looking for, what you're doing. Price comes down, like tags your limit perfectly, and then like reverses. Just feels good, right? Like, sticking to your plan, knowing what you're doing, being confident. But like this trade is pretty straightforward, right? There's like this big volume cluster. It's like right at the POC of the cluster we were coming down. We just swept the level there, and it's like the 7.5 fib, and there was like a poor low right there. So just trying to snipe the level, right? After like a pretty aggressive sell-off on the higher time frame. Like look at this shit. I'll do notifications in my limit orders so I can see if it does hit it or not. I'll just my limit orders if needed. Yeah, I've been playing a lot with the like what I've traditionally done. Like I'll have like ignore this price action, just focus on the fib. But, like I'll have like limits at like each fib level. Ding 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 ding. And they'll like scale progressively bigger and bigger. But I've started playing with like a super pyramid. Cause like on the exchanges, and like I even coded this myself. Like you can pick like the starting price, the ending price, how many orders you want in it. So I can put like literally like 1,000 fucking orders. And then I can pick like the scaling of how I want them to scale from here to here. So it's like literally like 1,000 orders in a pyramid. And it's just like ding 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 ding, like a massive gradient essentially. Which makes it kind of nice, because there are some times where it, like will come like just down to one of the levels and like just miss it, which is why a lot of times I'll like kind of front run it a little bit. Oh yeah, but doing it with like the 1,000 orders really makes it like much more efficient in that regard. Although it does look funny when you like go to compile your like trading like the spreadsheet from the exchange. You're just like fucking like a shit ton of orders for one trade. Thank God there's like a automated like tax programs for that now. If you're like an accountant having to do that by hand, you'd fucking want to kill yourself. Yeah. Well, that's a way to do it, right? Plus the other thing is okay, in this example, right? Like we dropped below the previous day low and VWAP, and then it got filled. And it's supposed to have more orders down here. Like it's supposed to have orders like down to like the 786 or even lower. Like big ass pyramid. And like I didn't get filled and it starts going. I've also been playing a lot with like adding on the reclaims of levels. Like I add on the reclaim of the VWAP, add on the reclaim of the previous day low. Like I add when the daily candle turns green. And so you're kind of like scaling to the position as it reclaims these like key points. A lot of people do that. This shit should be here pretty soon. Oh, damn. Yeah, a few minutes, goddamn. That's how I kind of do things. Yeah. That's the thing, there's so many ways, right? And there's like no right or wrong per se. But I do think it's a lot better than like when people first started trading, what do? Like they're like, I'm entering at this level, my stop is right here, and this is my fixed target. And they like treat trading like that, but like I don't know, I find it so much easier when you like work with multiple entries and multiple TPs. And you can like add the trade, add and like remove from the trade as you see fit once it's going. Also, they changed this. This didn't used to be like this. The other day I was so confused why I couldn't like use this properly. Like now the one on the right is like locked to left to right movement. And this one is like up down and left right. Interesting. Pretty fluid with my trade management. Yeah, I think that's the way to go. I think that's the way to go. The only thing I find sometimes like doing that is sometimes you like cut your legs off at the knees. You like, take profit like too aggressively, too like Robinhood for example. Like in Robinhood, I bottom ticked this trade fucking perfectly. Bump 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 bump. Down here, I was literally bottom tick on the exchange, getting filled on this thing, and I closed like a good amount on the gap fill, and then this thing's ended up fucking blasting. Dun 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 dun. Whatever. Can't cry over spilt milk. At least I left some of it running, right? I'll be back. I ordered food for people that are cleaning my house and it's supposed to be here, so I'm gonna go get that all set up for everybody to eat, and then I'll be back. Be back in like, I don't know, like 5 minutes or something. I'll leave it open on this. We'll do this.
Bullish divergence, watch the low. Watch this strength. Lower low, higher strength. Lower low, higher strength. Bullish divergence. Watch it turn. Price make low, then they get one more. Crowd gets scared, they sell the floor. Momentum rise while the chart look weak. That is the signal underneath. RSI creeping, sellers get tired. Tip still dark, but the beats catch fire. The things break down, I see a trap, one clean whip. And the price snap back, value area low with the pressure type POC. Pulling through the red skin light. Everybody short when the move gets in. I stay cold and I win the step in. Bullish divergence under the zone. Bullish divergence. Rise comes on. Lower low. Strength rise. Dark chart. Right side. Lower low. Higher strength. Lower low. Higher strength. Watch it turn. Bullish divergence. 618 on the pullback path. 786 sip a seat, move fast. Golden pocket where the fear gets loud. Then the bitch steps in and shakes the crowd. Bottom shoulders getting way too proud. Talking like Bryce, can I turn around? One floor push and the structure flips. Now the whole floor moves when the baseline hits. No guessing, just confirmation. Clean reaction, rotation, volume shifts and the candles breathe. I read the chart like it talks to me. Doom gets lower, strength gets higher. Sell is fading, buyers wire. Crowd sees panic.
price too low.
Strength beneath,
One more whip,
one more sign,
then we ride.
then we climb.
Build it slow,
Let me breathe.
price too low.
Strength beneath,
One more whip,
one more sign,
then we ride.
then we climb. Lower low, higher strength. Lower low, higher strength. Lower low, bullish divergence, bullish divergence. Lower low, higher strength. Bullish divergence, bullish divergence. Watch it turn, watch it turn, watch it turn. Value low, BOC, price snap back, energy. Bullish divergence all night. Dark chart, green light. Late night screens based in the street. Cowbell sharp with the 808 heat. Price look dead, but the data spoke. One clean bounce in the floor, oh woke. They sold the bottom, that was their mistake. I waited calm for the rhythm to break. Momentum told me the selling was weak. Now the chart got lift and the move got sleek. No rush on the entry, no fear in the red, just patience. Pressure, time and speed. When the low gets swept and the strength survive. Bullish, bullish, brings it back alive. Lower low, higher strength. Lower low, higher strength. Bullish divergence, bullish divergence. Watch it turn, watch it turn, watch it turn. Bars react, face attack, clean reversal, under back. Bullish divergence all night. Dark chart, green light. Marcos trades, bullish divergence, clean reversal. No chasing.
Just confirmation.
Marcos trade, always prepared. The market open. 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 Market open. Open. Market open. Market open. Market open. Surgical logic. I'm in the zone. 618. The level is hit. Institutional flow. Yeah, you're feeling it. High off the profit. High off the trade. Exactly where I land. Market open, market open. Market open, market open. Stay alive, market open, stay alive. Worldwide trading. Market open, market open. Marcos trade. Always prepared. Too easy. Market open.
Walk, up at the man, is the man. Get him! The man is the man. Walk, up at the man, is the man. Up at the man, is the man. Get him! Got him. Wake up in a the penthouse, sun high in the sky. Blowing on these as I watching candles fly high. Retail traders panicking, them looking for a sign. But me already entered, me just chilling on the line. Value area higher, we break cocky with a grin. While them long in at the top, that's a digital sin. Me barely even looking, just a glance at the screen. Up performing Wall Street, if you know what me mean. Me eyes a bit red, but the vision is clear. You see the liquidity, me don't feel it fear. 618 top, yes, pixel perfect. Tell the haters move, them budget is worthless. Got 'em. The math is the math, yeah, the math is the math. Me riding the wave, clearing on the path. High energy living, elite level play. Me print more money in an hour than your day. Easy money, baby, we don't even sweat. Funding the Bugatti with your biggest regret. The math is the math, and we move like a boss. Island rhythm while we feeding them the love.
Okay, we're back. We are back. Future is here. It's been a while. How are things? Green blackout curtains and music, just like the old days. It's fun. These curtains aren't even mine, funnily enough. It's like someone that when I first bought this house, I would rent it out like all the rooms, right? Because there's like a lot of bedrooms here. And like these curtains were like the person that was in this room. Yeah, they are pretty good blackout curtains actually, now that you do mention it. Cause like the front of my house faces like the sunrise and sunset. So I would be getting blinded if it wasn't for these things. But how am I? Amazing. I'm literally amazing. Enjoying my summer, living life. Just got the house cleaned by like a cleaning service. Man, they went all out. Goddamn, that shit is looking spotless. But I just like got them all food, paid everything. And now we're just sitting here chilling, babysitting trades for a bit. How are you? Things, I don't know how long I'm gonna be here. Cause like I do have people coming over later. And I gotta go to like the gym and whatnot still. And plus like at this point it's like it's Friday, right? End of the week. Like are we expecting a lot of volatility in the last 4 hours of the session? Probably not. And then like I'm probably not gonna be taking any new trades at this point. I'm fine. Oh, I missed a message. Forgot to ask, are you a full-time trader? Yeah, I am. I used to be like work as like a software engineer, like that whole career path. But eventually I just started making so much money trading. It was like, fuck it, who cares? Basically. You know, in hindsight, I will say, I have come to regret that decision. I think I can confidently say I do regret quitting my job to trade. Oh, how do I phrase this? Okay, I don't regret it in the sense that I made good use of the time to like really nerd out on trading and like speed run how fast I could level up in terms of my trading skills. But now that I have hit like a certain point, because trading is not particularly fulfilling, right? Like, let's be honest, you're just doing the same shit in and out every day. Whereas like if you're working at like a company, like building something with like the team and like the camaraderie that comes with it, it is better in my opinion. Which is why my plan is always never like be like remain a trader long term. Like my goal is to be like a venture capitalist kind of thing. And I'm just using this as like a means to build money to go do like other shit. And it's also partly why I've like pivoted more and more to swing trading as time passes, so like I don't have to be sitting here looking at this stuff nonstop. Gym day, or I'm fine as everything as usual. Nice. Glad to hear that. Gym day for me as well. Yeah, it's always a gym day for me. I go every day. Done. I'm an SRE. An SRE? What is that? Whoops. SR. Fuck. A site reliability engineer. Applies software engineering to IT operations. Automate system management and monitoring to keep scalable applications highly available during frequent updates. Bridges the gap between software developments, prioritizing new features and operations teams focusing on stability. Interesting. Interesting. Have a good salary, so I have no intention of leaving. Marco Polo Alto Networks. Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm familiar with them. Well, I mean, I guess like they're based out of California, I believe, correct? I guess you just have like a location where you live. Like your volume profile indicator. What, this one? The visible range one? Yeah, it's nice because whatever you're looking at, it like adjusts it as you go. Look, if I'm just looking at this, it'll like readjust. But it is nice to have like this is like the daily profile, this like burgundy or reddish line. Because a lot of people are just watching the daily, like the session volume profile. So kind of is nice to like track both, just kind of have an idea. But yeah. I mean, I use both, right? I use both. I use all of them, to be honest. Like I use like fixed range. I use the visible. I use like just a session, and I use like multiple different session ones. Yeah, in terms of the job, like it's not even the salary, right? It's not even the salary. The other thing about trading is like part of the reason why I started streaming. Because you're just sitting at your house alone all day, every day. Like quite lonely. Like personally, I've never really minded it. I guess I'm a bit introverted in that regard. But it does like weigh on you a bit over time. And I found that during COVID, my ability to speak really degraded. Could not like articulate my thoughts properly. Like I was like always had words at the tip of my tongue. Streaming like helps with that. Which is also another nice thing that I've enjoyed in being in Toronto. It's like a lot more social life. Oh shit, meeting time. I'll be back soon, my dude. I mean, I don't know if I'll be here, but yeah, if I catch you, yeah. If not, then we'll see each other another day. Shout out to you, though. Shout out to Mr. Vex, nerding out on the trading. Working at Palo Alto. How's all this stuff doing? Okay. Okay. Harris Kamal, hi Marcos, early stream. Yeah. Like I have plans later today, so wasn't gonna be around. So I figured while I'm kicking it here throughout the day, might as well chill a bit. Dun. You know, make sure we're all on the same page. Make sure we're all juicing. Whoops. Probably nerd out on some of these alts, right? We haven't traded alts in a while. We might get some pretty juicy entries here pretty soon. How's the other one doing? Lighter. No, I've been reading some pretty interesting stuff about this, right? Like the whole lighter versus hyperliquid debate. It seems like lighter is kind of set up to have like regulatory advantage in the US over Hyperliquid. And in terms of like the market cap differential, like this could be like quite the catch-up trade. Leave that for now. What's all that other crap doing?
Marco's trades. Believe.
Hmm.
The math is the math. I see them doubting when the screen turns red. Listen to the noise filling up their head. I'm looking at the auction, looking at the range. The ledger stays the same even when the prices change. They want a magic trick, they want a lucky sign, but I'm just busy drawing out the 618 lines. So
Pretty chill day, right? Pretty chill day. Also, the good thing we took profit on this. Remember when we were talking about this up here? This thing ended up nuking, right? It's already back down to like breaking the lows almost at this point. Question is, what do we do? What do we do? We got like an hour or so here. What should we do, guys? I'm looking something to do. Jensen has joined X. Okay. Interesting. No. Man, well, we missed this Apple trade. God damn. It feels bad right there. It's been going ever since. I think they were about to pass in video, or they already have, right? Damn. Oh yeah, we need to finish that video from yesterday. I forgot. Oops. Oops. We'll kind of leave some alarms on everything.
She's looking at me, I'm looking at the you. 50 floors up, yeah, the balcony is wide. She's sipping on something, I'm catching the tide. You can flow with the island, so surgical entries, I'm in full control. Custom silk on, yeah, it's feeling like a dream. High tier analyst leading the team. High in the hills with a bad thing, yeah, yeah. Trading the value is a mad thing, yeah, yeah. Afrobeat bounce and the rhythm is right. We We don't see the sun, we just own the night. The math is a luxury vibe. Inside the pocket, providing for the tribe.
Too easy.
Stars I smoke drifting through the ocean air. Hands on the curves while I'm watching the pair. 618 hit, now we're heading to the boat. Everything's light, yeah, we're staying afloat. Fashion and logic, the silhouette is keen. She's a masterpiece, I'm a ghost in the machine. Institutional flow, yeah, the volume is deep. Making all the profit while the world is asleep. Exotic life, surgical knife. The auction is balanced, avoiding a strife.
Golden pockets. Global profit.
The math is the math. High in the hills with a bad thing, yeah. Trading the value is a mad thing, yeah. Afrobeat bounce and the rhythm is bright. We don't see the sun, we just own the night. The math is the math, it's a lot.
Okay. Okay, we're home alone now, guys. We can start screaming again. God damn. God damn. He probably thought it was a freak when I started the stream. Then you're yelling. Probably think I'm just sitting here yelling to myself. So worth it. So worth it. God damn. If I had to sit there and do cleaning this shit all day like that, it'd be a pain in the ass. Bum bum ba ba bum. Oh yeah, the video. Where did I put that thing? Dun 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 dun. Okay. And guys, I'm so excited for September. We'll finally be done with all this dental garbage. Like my Invisalign is already finished. I already got my Invisalign removed. That feels good. And I got like the post for the implant. Now on September I get the crown and then we're done, right? Back to teeth glistening. Glistening. What I'm really excited for is next summer. If this summer was good, can you imagine next summer? God damn. I'm gonna be even more jacked, more smarter, juicing even fucking harder.
Is it real? Or is it just the math?
I think we're gonna be going international next summer. We're gonna be streaming fucking off the coast of Lord knows where, secluded location in the villa. Starlink on deck. Living a blessed life. Okay, let's switch this. Actually, just kind of make sure we don't miss any news. No. Okay. Put that like that.
61A surgical. But I can feel the floor.
Boom. Turn off our alarm. We do have to go do shit. We'll go buy some stuff before everybody comes over.
Always prepared. Just a glitch, just a ghost. Marco's trades.
Okay. Any questions or no? Or no? Or no? Or no? If not, I'm about to just power through this video that we started yesterday but never finished. And that food looks so good. Food looks so good. Sticking to my diet though. Sticking to the diet, staying disciplined. Where are these notes? Any questions or no? Or no? Where is this layout? Pause this, rip
Identifying
this.
what others are missing, identifying what others can't see. And therefore, that's what almost makes it interesting and makes it viable for you. If everyone's got the same idea, everyone can see this, it's almost taken away its edge, it's alpha, if you will.
Yeah. So but it also depends on whether it's a mature idea or whether it's a fresh one.
Okay.
If we've been in the middle of a long trend, everyone had the same trade, okay. But if it's early on and everyone has the same bet, yeah, I don't think so.
Okay.
It's too obvious. It's, one of the things that I always advise people to do is to speak to lots of traders every day. Not to argue with them or debate. Understand what are they thinking and why? Because you might find if everyone has the same view, you better think about it. If it's so obvious, who else is still left to come in?
Yeah. And one thing you mentioned earlier is like how you didn't really plan to become a trader. And I find that really fascinating because look what you've achieved in your trading career thus far and continue to do. Like, is there anything that you can really stands out to you that has allowed you to?
Yeah, pretty interesting,
achieve
right? This guy was
these
doing like a, what do you say? Like a philosophy or something? What was it? What was he studying? What was the guest? Yeah. to go from this to being like a trading, interesting, right? Quite the career
accolades and such
pivot.
incredible results, and over a long period of time, a lot of people may have achieved results, but then move on or end up round tripping, as they say. So having such a long, incredible career, is anything, and especially it being by accident in terms of like not really being the plan for you, does anything really stand out in terms of what's allowed you to do this, allowed you to not only have longevity but equally have such phenomenal results?
So, for me, I'm not sure I can answer that directly, but I can say that for me, what's critical is, number one, to be objective, and number two, to identify my inner mechanisms. In other words, I can have an idea, or I can have an intuition, or I can have an analysis. These are all different things, right? I can break something down mathematically, and it might seem perfect, but maybe it's a little voice inside saying, "Are you sure you really got it?" And other times where I say, "I know what to do. I don't care about any analysis." In other words, it's really knowing yourself and digging into yourself that I think is the key, and understanding that you have to adapt if things change. If the market adapts, then you have to adapt. But I think if I only had one strategy for trading, I think there's no way I would have lasted so long. That would have been boring. But also, it's like, yeah, you need to adapt, but you also really need to be very, very honest with yourself. You also need to have a high tolerance for pain. I mean, seriously, you really do. It's important. It's like, like over the years, I think I probably hired maybe 40 different traders, different backgrounds, different experiences. Some options guys, some spot guys who focus only on non-currency markets, whatever. And what I found is that some guys were really good to make a certain amount of money, but if you push them past that limit, they'll blow up. I mean, really implode. Other people were fine until all of a sudden they had a big idea and it goes wrong, and then I had one guy literally, he would sit under the desk. He would just literally go into like a panic, go to the desk. I'm like, okay, this is not the right strategy for him. So everyone's different, but I think that as long as everyone can be number one, willing to adapt their strategies, because the markets do change, and if they can be willing to look at themselves really in a hard way and say, you know what, you're just getting it wrong. Maybe you should stop for a little while and think about it. Just retool. But it depends on the psychology. Like if someone goes through a tough time, so I'm going to fight and push my way out of it, there's a chance they're going to completely blow up, they'll implode, because they won't be clear and calm. So a lot of it is just mastering your own emotions, your feelings.
Can you imagine just walking into the office and someone's literally cowering under the desk? Fucking fire that guy right there. Are you kidding me? Losing full composure on the job.
Would you say you've always had a high tolerance for risk? Is that something you had to develop?
I would say I was always able to disassociate myself from risk. I could focus on the idea. In other words, my ego didn't get involved in the trade. If your ego's involved in your performance, then you have no chance.
How do you feel you were able to do that? Was that something that just naturally felt like the way, or was it something that stood out to you to allow that to take place?
It could be that some of the studies I've done in other fields helped.
Really?
Sure. I think about the idea that, as people, we're multi-tiered, right? We have a conscious mind, we have a subconscious mind. We don't have to get into the spiritual aspects, but there are different layers to an individual. And so it's important what layer we're really functioning from, right? I believe that everyone has an intuitive capacity to some extent. The mother who wakes up in the middle of the night screaming that, about her son who just got shot, 12,000 miles away, it happens, right? There's some kind of connectivity there. So these are all different parts of your consciousness. And then the key here in the trading is
that true?
Are we really in tune with ourselves? And if we're in tune with ourselves, then
Is
we
that
can plug into the parts
true?
of ourselves
Oh, we gotta research that real quick. Sounds like fake news to me, right? We gotta research that. Interesting. Interesting. Hmm.
That we can detach our egos from the process. If you can detach your ego from the decision, you can be very clear. If I tell you you have to make a decision on what questions to ask, if you make the wrong decision, even though I'm not going to tell you what the right answer is, you're going to suffer enormously because we're going to put electrodes to your feet or something. What are you going to do? You're probably going to be pretty nervous about what question to ask. But if you go, well, I don't care. I don't have any sensory capacity in my feet, so go ahead, put electrodes on my feet. So you relax. You might not be happy, but you won't be freaking out about it. In other words, the key is if your ego is fully involved in the process, you won't survive long term as a trader. If you start thinking you're special because you make money, or if you think you're deficient because you're losing money, you have no chance.
Traders, let me tell you about the best CFD firm in the industry, Alpha Capital. Alpha Capital has every option a trader could possibly need. From one step, next out the code, having and moving on, mask out for 20% off all challenges. The link is in the description below. And let's get back to the episode. So throughout your career, then having these,
Didn't they go under? Like, wasn't there some like huge fucking controversy with this pretty recently?
massive trades, even famous trades that are still accolades to this day during that process when you were doing them and after the fact and moving on and sort of progressing in your career, you wouldn't hold on or remember or sort of try and outshine the previous trade.
No, because then you're bound to lose. Because you're going to lose your objectivity, your detachment.
So every single trade is almost
it's a new experience. And that's done. It's a memory, but it's okay. Now you can learn from it, but if you stay attached to it, you're not here. You're there.
In terms of adapting, as you mentioned, and having singular strategies, for example, I know a lot of people. I say a lot of people. There are people who are probably having their first experience of profitability over the last year, maybe 18 months. What would you say is the best thing that people should be looking at when it comes to being able to adapt and being ready to, when it comes to changing strategies? And a lot of people find that disheartening to hear because they spend so long getting profitable with one strategy or one way of thinking. So what would you say is the best mindset for people to have when it comes to having to adapt, rather than being those part of the group of people who have to essentially stop trading?
Yeah. Well, first, I think it's hopefully people have the ability to do digging into the markets to see if the market has changed in some way. I mean, there's some objective things. You can look at the levels of volatility. You can probably identify certain measures of trendiness in a market, right? You can look at the average ranges. You can look at there's a lot of information. As this information, if it flows in, you should be able to say, well, the world has changed. Trends don't last the same amount of time. And you can measure these things, right? You go, well, they have changed. So if they have changed, then I have to adapt in some capacity, right? I think it's also critical to understand where your inefficiencies, or not so much inefficiencies, but where the inherent unfairness is. So for sure, people trading at a big firm are going to have better information flow. They'll have it sooner. They'll have more of it. Okay, they'll see what customers are doing. There are many reasons that typical retail trader is at a major disadvantage. Information flow, capacity in terms of power to withstand. If you know you have a deep investor behind you, and you can handle some losses, you'll relax. But if you I can't afford to lose any money, you're going to struggle. It's hard. So these are all sorts of things go into the bucket. But ultimately, you have to be willing to constantly reassess. Is anything changed? If it's not working, then something's changed, right? And you also have to determine whether it's a real inefficiency or whether it's just something that looks like an inefficiency. I know I spent millions and millions of dollars testing whether something was really an inefficiency. I had a rocket scientist guy, literally hired the guy to sit there and run quant studies, create random data sets and otherwise study all these markets. Tell me are these really inefficient? And for the most part, inefficiencies aren't there. There just aren't that many of them. There are some. Then the key is how you're going to plug in them. If you say you want to do trend following, yeah, there are inefficiencies there. Trends go longer and they're more sustained than they should mathematically. How are you going to identify it? How are you going to avoid getting chopped up when the market looks like it's going to trend, but it's not? I mean, or I can tell you that over short periods of time, the market's mean reverting. Today's price is as good a guess as tomorrow's price as any other guess. Maybe it's a better guess. So for very short term, it's mean reverting. For very long periods of time, it's going to be trend following. In between, it's messy. So I'm saying it really depends on on the psychology of the person. If you tell me you can't sit and handle the risk of a market shifting around for more than a few days, and you have to adapt the right strategy to match your psychology.
Do you think there's an element where traders can actually adapt their psychology? You hear a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm just not a patient person." For example, I struggle with patience. Do you think that people can actually change that if they actually truly do struggle with patience? For example, or they're not a patient person, are they able to develop their patience to broaden their horizon, or should they be looking to match strategy to their personality? If that makes sense.
Okay, so when someone says they're not patient,
That's an interesting question. It can be both, right? We'll say this: can you become more patient? Yes. But are you going to do that as quickly as just picking a strategy that matches your current level of patience? Probably not.
If you're willing to sit with the same position for 3 weeks and you're going to make X%, my bet is that they could be patient. That's my bet. I'll take that bet. Most people, if they see the fruits, they'll do it.
Do you feel like, in terms of people being able to see those fruits because of the uncertainty that the markets bring, and because they can't have that certainty, therefore they won't be patient?
So,
that makes sense.
So let me I'm going to answer it indirectly. That's okay. When we're looking at our core cash flow business, okay, what are we assuming? We're assuming, all else on the side? We assume that we don't know when the next big order is going to hit the market. We don't know if it's going to be to buy or sell. we're assuming we don't know what news is going to come out because we're not going to have the instantaneous. We might get it pretty fast. We're not going to get as fast as the guy who's got the high-speed cable line hooked up, from 100 meters away. I mean, whatever. I can give all the examples. So we know that we have disadvantages in terms of information flow, in terms of order flow, in terms of speed of information, all these different things. So what's our core advantage? Our core advantage is we can figure out probabilities pretty well. We're really good at that. And so once I shift my time horizon from having to figure out the next 30 minutes or the next 2 hours, the next 3 days, I've got a good chance to compete. The next 5 days, I have a better chance. Once I go out to 6 to 8 weeks, I can compete as well as anyone else in the world at that period because I can identify probabilities. And so we try to focus where we're not at an inherent disadvantage. I think a lot of the retail firms, they want to sell you they want to sell volume. That's their business. So they try to get people actively trading all the time. It's probably the worst thing for most traders to do.
So would you suggest that people should broaden the time horizon?
100%. Actually, more than 100%. Probably about about 2,000%. If they're trading for 1 or 2 days, they should be thinking about different time horizons.
Yeah, it's funny, right? It's funny that he says that because, if you notice, newer traders are always the ones who are trying to scalp on the 1 minute. But then the more experienced of a trader you talk to, they're not doing that. Aside from very niche outliers. And we've already covered many reasons why it's even if you do become very efficient at low time frame scalping, it's still not worth it. Still not worth it. There's too many cons in terms of the long end game.
Institution comes in and they want to go and they want to sell $8 billion of some stock. You get blindsided if you happen to be long the stock. You don't know. How do you know the order's going to come in? How do you know how the market's going to react to some chaotic news? You don't. You don't know if the market's if it's going to be a little sell-off before it spikes up, or if it's going to be a little sell-off before a big sell-off. There's so much short-term noise, and I think that traders should try to move away from that noise. The retail traders have no chance in that noise. Again, that's my bias.
Do you feel like there's almost an itch, or people find swing trading and long-term trading less sexy, if you will, appealing? It's not really been promoted.
Sure. Yeah, because I feel like, look at all this stuff going on. It's moving around. I should be making money. It's no. It's you should be making money intelligently. You should be structuring smart trades. No. Let me give you a different example. Suppose I know that over many years, we'll talk about dollar yen. Dollar yen has it'll have compression and volatility around about 5%. It might go
it's a fair point, right? The other thing about it too is realistically, whatever, man. We're not even gonna say it, right? We're not even gonna say it. I'm not even gonna say it. We'll let it slide for now.
It's very easy to just buy options and on a market neutral basis, just rebalance the deltas. It's not complicated. I could teach anyone to do that probably in 3 days. Okay, that's a high probability win because when you put a trade like that on, where you know that over time it's going to go back to 7 or 8 or 9% vol, you're gonna make a lot of money in that trade without having a market view. You don't need a market view. You're just betting on probabilities. Or I know that if it goes to 15 or 16%, if I find a safe way to sell volatility, I'm gonna make money on that over time. It's no different from people who trade S&P options. When it goes 13, 14% vol, it's probably a good buy. So these are the more people can go probability based. It's that unless the world's really shifted and changed in some permanent structural way, that's an outlier. And people should learn to look for outliers. Does that make sense?
No, it makes sense in terms of, so when you're identifying the highest probable plays, they're the ones you should be focused on.
Absolutely.
And I think a lot of people, because of the nature of the markets that they're trading and the viewpoint of the markets, being very short term, as we mentioned already, probably looking at the wrong mechanics / elements of their trades and how they, as you say, structuring them. They don't really spend time. Their version of probabilities comes down to say, taking 100 trades that they've taken in their markets, checking the result, and then saying, okay, I have a 40% win rate on this strategy, which gives me a risk reward of this multiple, and that's the probabilities or the way they're thinking of probabilities versus identifying this is outside the norm of where price should be. Overall, this is going to end up here. This is a very high probable play. As long as my time horizon has expanded wise, this will come back to this area.
But there are other sorts of things. For example, let's look back at the S&Ps in April. Yeah. I didn't look at it. I never looked at a chart for the first 5 years I traded ever. I had a model on my desk, and every sunken ship had a chart room. I didn't need to look. I was like an idiot. I was trading 18 hours, 19 hours every day. And I remembered levels very well. But I also know markets have memory. So if you go back and look at a long-term chart in the S&Ps, you remember that 4,800 happened to have been the end of a major rally at one point. That's going to be the market. Remember that. We might not remember that. It might have happened a long time ago. It might have happened recently. But the market will remember multi-month, multi-year highs, multi-year month, multi-year lows. And think of those as like energy points. Mm-hmm. So I think that where people can do well in trading is if they stop thinking about the market it's anything more than just shifting of energies. It is. Because what is it? It's a bunch of people expressing their views, which is just shifting energy one way or the other. But the market will have an energetic memory of certain levels. Multi-year highs and lows are important. Multi-decade highs and lows are more important. All-time highs and lows are really, really important. So we go into these things and oh, well, that's a really interesting level. Let's pay a lot of attention here. In other words, so I'm not saying you should only do longer-term trades, but let's imagine I think back at that level. So 4,800 was critical in the S&P. It was big. The market was extremely oversold. Everyone priced a lot of negative stuff. We had a lot of long-term energetic memory there. It made sense. It kind of held. Okay, not the most obvious. I would say 3,600 might be a better level in the S&Ps if we go back there someday. But I think that people they might have a rule that I've done this trade 200 times and I'm right 40% of the time, and my risk reward is such that I can make a little bit. Okay, but is that efficient? Maybe that's how I like to do it. I'm telling you, there are more efficient ways by looking for patterns, bigger picture patterns that might show up one day. Is that what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So the critical levels are important. All-time highs and lows are really important. People should pay attention. Particularly if we have a level that was rejected for a major move. For example, dollar yen 160, 161. multi-year high, not an all-time high, but it's a multi-year high. If we go back up there, that's going to be a really interesting level, and I'll definitely want to be involved. I don't know how I want to be involved yet, but I want to do something when we get around that level.
And
if we go there.
Yeah. Don't know where the market's going next? Stop worrying about your trading. Just get informed on exactly what's happening in the markets and what to expect.
Why the button's not working? God damn.
In particular. In terms of that actually concept, would you say that then you're looking at, because of the broadened horizon and sort of price isn't always going to be at these levels in particular, and you're not always going to find structural inefficiencies? Does this mean that in terms of what you're looking at in terms of different asset classes and markets, you're then able to have a more broad, because a lot of people, as I said, going back to our examples, a lot of people will only be a futures trader. Not only that, they'll only trade, say, ES or NQ, and that's it. That's all they do. Same with like Forex. They might only trade Forex and only trade a single pair. Whether that's right or not, whether that's profitable long term or not. But does that mean then, based on the broadened time horizon and then looking for these more structural inefficiencies, does that mean then your asset class and viewpoint that way is much more broader as well?
Yeah, I'll look at any market. And we are heavily focused on S&P options because they're incredibly liquid and they're incredibly mispriced, which is interesting. I mean, the pricing is just silly. So we find ways to make money with that silliness. But we'll look at.
I mean, is it silly though? It's really not, right? Like the bigger it is, the more likely that is to happen. There's like too much money sloshing around.
We traded very aggressively for a long time. I thought it was a fantastic bull. And we also thought it was time to flatten recently after a couple of years. So we'll look at anything that's interesting. Silver up at its all-time highs. It's interesting. So these are and then we find too. Well, what do we really think is going on here? Is this a structural shift in the world? And then it's, oh, gee, look at this. Central banks are buying gold. Well, they've been buying gold for 2 years. And now if I have information, if I can identify right now in this room, although I won't, certain central banks that are selling gold, a lot of gold. They're reducing portfolio. I have another central bank that's buying gold. Well, who's going to be doing more? So this is information flow. And I think people would be wise to try to activate broader information flows. I think they would do well to look for major levels. Major levels are always worth focusing on. There are many ways to make money in the market. And I think, I've hired guys who traded one currency pair for banks. And they were not very good as prop traders. They were really good at the bank because they made money on bid-ask spreads. They knew how to do that. Same thing with a lot of option traders they made market makers. As market makers, they were good. But as prop traders, they weren't. So I've seen, but good prop traders usually are flexible enough to say, well, this is really interesting. I'm not sure what to do with it yet, but let me see. Oh, this is kind of cool. Let me focus. So I think again, this is in my experience, the best prop traders were looking at many markets and they were looking at many different types of strategies and they were looking at many different time horizons. So it could be that I want to trade for, I want to do a 6-week strategy.
And it's the best way to do it, right? Ultimately, it's like, especially for people that like suffer from like FOMO. Like if you miss a trade on one thing, just go look for another setup somewhere else.
In 7 days, I'm out. Thank you very much. I'm done. I'll take my profit. Or if it's totally wrong, I'll take my loss. But it's all each trade is different, and each trade is a function of something different.
When it comes to that information,
Plus, it's also like helps when the market's in different kind of regimes, right? We're just kind of like grinding sideways. You can just do like a lot more like mean reversion range based trades. Whereas if we're starting to like trend, then you can start doing more trend momentum based trades. So there's always something to do.
And being able to, so for example, in terms of the central banks as an example, is that information that you're able to get access to or learn about because of your prior relationships? And then sort of, so would you say as a retail trader, how should they be looking at, not maybe getting the exact same information, but are there avenues you would suggest for them to start improving the relevance and speed of information that they're able to get access to?
Well, first,
I don't agree with this point, right? We were talking about this yesterday, but like the whole idea of like having to have optimal information flow when like trading the news, it's overrated, very overrated. Just fucking trade math and you're chilling.
The information, a lot of the information is there. A lot of central banks will release, for example, what they've been accumulating or not accumulating. So, I mean, that's all relevant. You can look at hedge ratios. There's a lot of information that's available that people don't focus on because it means kind of digging into the weeds. And it's annoying. But so it doesn't have to just be relationship based. But I would say that we have many markets now that are closer at all-time highs. Yeah. That's interesting. That's worth focusing because it could be that at some point we're gonna take a run at some all-time highs and we're gonna keep failing. And then you have a trade. It's an obvious trade at some point. You go, you know what? We've tried this level a few times. It's failing up here. I think maybe I'll try going short here. I'll put my stop up here. That's a different kind of strategy. Not a structural. If you have a structural trade, then you say, up here, maybe I'm going to put on an option trade and play for a big reversal. Or I think we're going to explode through, and then you have a different idea. It depends on what it is. But I think that people who only have one strategy, I think they're kind of missing the boat.
You think as well that they'll almost always be limited and they'll always be at the mercy of change and adaptation in the market as well?
100%. Yeah.
Do you think a lot of people who come into trading, they might get into trading, might have the right idea, they might have, okay, I want to be a trader for essentially the rest of my life, right?
Well, the question is, why do they want to be traders? That's the key question.
What would you say the right answer to that is?
The best answer would be they like a challenge. It's one.
It's like because you like the game, right? Because you like the game. If not, chances are you're not gonna make it, right? If you don't enjoy doing this, like nerding out, are you really gonna continue doing it for the fucking rest of your life? Probably not. Or even like a handful of years.
And they're willing to bang their head against the wall many times to figure it out. Okay, seriously. I think one of the best reasons is they're really interested in some kind of self-inquiry. They have to be willing to look hard at themselves, understand how they feel when they're losing, how they feel when they're winning, try to find some balance between the two so they don't get all wrapped up in the results. So, I mean, in general, I find people who can't stay calm, they're not going to make it. They have no chance because they're going to get sucked into some vortex of self-doubt, self-worth feelings, all these sorts of things.
Is there any processes in terms of being present enough to be able to be aware of these emotions when you're feeling them? Is it a factor that they need to start getting more present and mindful of how they're feeling when they're, say, in a win, in a loss, even when they're neutral? Should it be more of a present awareness that they should be taking it off, or is it something that they can even get benefit from?
No, no. It's about being planned and prepared, right? That is what trading comes down to. Are you planned and prepared, or are you just fucking like winging it and don't know what you're doing? Because when you're planned and prepared, none of this shit applies. There's no psychological issues. There's no fucking FOMO. You don't care if you lose because you were prepared to take a loss before you even entered the trade. You already knew what the risk was, blah, blah, blah. Or like his sizing appropriately, etc. Oh, I hate that these podcasts always harp on this shit, right? It's like, it's so misleading to people. Like, does the psychology, like, if you're sitting here thinking that, like, oh, my psychology is fucking me up, like, no, you just don't know what you're fucking doing. Like, does your psychology fuck you up going to the bathroom? Right? Are you're getting nervous to go take a piss or something? No, it's fucking routine. It's automatic. You know exactly what you're fucking doing. Same with like the rest of the shit you do in your daily life. If you approach trading the same way, what is the fucking issue?
Reflecting after the fact.
Both. I mean, I'll give you like with Bill, you know, it's Solomon. Like he knew when he was out of sync. He would say, I've lost it here. I need to take a week. I'll come back. Just please run my positions for me. Just do your best. I'll be back in a week, and then we'll keep going. Because he knew that he was out of sync and things weren't going at all the way he was expecting. And so that was self-awareness, right? You know, he was very disciplined. He had his strategies. He knew what he wasn't good at. He knew what he was good at, and that worked. He knew that short-term trading was not for him. He wasn't good at that. He was good at macro trading, big picture stuff. He liked to sell options, so we found ways to do it.
Although, you know, I will say this. When you're dealing with stress outside of trading, like let's say your parents are sick, or like, I don't know, you just broke up with your girlfriend, or like got divorced, like that stuff, like if your like mind is out of it, right? You're not like focused on what you're doing. In that case, yeah, you know, maybe give things some time. But assuming that if you're like in a good head state and you're like focused and planning properly, then there should be like zero issues.
But everyone has their own psychological makeup. If someone does it because they want the glory and they want the thrill, yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough for them to handle because there will be downtimes. There will be down, and it could be no fault of their own. I mean, I learned this early on. We had huge positions, and Bill had sold options naked every 2 yen, and the total short exposure was, I don't know, a couple $1 billion. And he said, "It's your book. I can't handle it right now." Like, oh great. And Diane started racing higher. We're short dollar calls naked all the way up. So I'm like, I'm buying dollars like a lunatic every night. I'm up all night buying dollars, and trying to buy dollars before the strikes. And we only had like 4 days to go before expiration. And so I bought well over $1 billion, just hedging this book that I was hating, but it wasn't my book. I had to manage it as well as I could. And I was speaking to the guys in Singapore, and I did a lot of trading with them. I said, "Guys, I need to sleep for a little bit. I haven't slept much for like 4 days. So call me if there's any news. If it moves more than 50 points either way, just call me." I said, "You know what? I'm gonna leave the phone line open. I'm putting the phone under the pillow. Start screaming. Start screaming if something happens." I put my head down. Oh, I'm out here screaming. I said, "What's going on?" He said, "Well, your president's dead." I said, "What?" I said, "Where's Dalian?" He goes, "We don't know." I said, "What do you don't know? You're like the biggest bank in Singapore. We don't know what the dollar is. It's much lower. We don't know how much lower it is." And I'm like, now I'm up. I'm looking at the Reuters in the house, and I'm thinking, I'm looking at the screen. The Dalian's like 4 yen wide, like 6 yen lower. I go, this is really bad. I mean, bring the freaking firm down. Just covering his positions. Like, oh my god. And I was like, okay, now I do some breathing exercises, center my mind, calm down. It's like, all right, let's see. And so it was the kind of thing where, you know, if I panicked, it would have been an absolute horror show. It could have easily dropped a couple $100 million in 2 hours, easily. And I was like, you know what? Let's just stay calm, wait, see what happens. And it was the kind of thing where, you know, having the ability to detach myself and depersonalize it, and not think about I'm bringing the firm down by running my partner's positions, but it's like let's take a calm decision here on what to do. And it was that process where I was automatically, almost innately able to detach. And I think if people can detach, because things will happen, people have a great position and news will come out, and the position will be 2% in their face, and they'll, well, my stop is supposed to be here, but it's here. What do I do? I mean, they'll have that experience, and if they can't go through that detachment process, they're gonna hate trading and they're gonna blow up.
In terms of that process and being able to detach yourself, I know you just mentioned like breathing exercises, etc. Are there specific things that people should be looking into or implementing?
I think they should practice these 10 to 15 minutes a day of just being calm, quiet, no internet, nothing. Just breathing is great. It's about as basic as we can get. I think you'll find that a lot of traders, really, really top traders,
There's a lot of merit in
they don't
that.
talk about it, but they do it.
Also, what's another like interesting one? Like running your water or running your hands in their cold water, like spikes your cortisol lower. You know, interesting enough, if you want to learn about kind of stuff like this, it'd be cool to study like Navy SEALs. Like they actually have like a lot of interesting science that they apply to like their training.
Not only yourself, but then all the traders that you've already mentioned, for example. How often would you find that their day-to-day outside of trading? What did that look like? Was it chaotic? Was it filled with all sorts of different activities? Or was it really centered around being focused and allowing them, when it came to the markets, when it came to them entering the markets, managing the markets, they would actually almost be centered around their performance so that they would be able to perform at their best?
It was laser focused. They were absolutely buried right down into that process. And they had, distractions were just kept away. Their phone calls were shielded from distractions. Everything was geared towards being able to focus and ultimately make calm decisions.
So when you look at the traders of today who are entering the markets, maybe recently over, or maybe this year, the last few years, especially since COVID, because obviously we had such an influx of traders or people entering the trading industry, should I say. And you look at the distractions of, as you mentioned, like social media and people's mobile phones and just day-to-day interactions now in comparison to before. What do you think people should be doing and what should they be focusing on when it comes to, well, one, trying to trade, and two, trying to really progress as a trader? Because it's still, I guess the statistics have never changed in terms of the majority of people failing at trading.
Sure. I think a really interesting experiment for every aspiring trader would be to not look at charts, watch the price action, and see if they can feel the market, because there is an energy in the market. You should be able to feel the energy building up when it's going to go up or go down. It's there. I think that charts can be instructive. They can also be a distraction. So I think that people really need to do more head stuff. But a lot of people like that. Could you sort of meditate on a chart? I guess. I find that it's more interesting to see if you can plug into the market itself, into the flow of the market. But I think for sure, the information flow from, I guess, some of the trader sites, like I'm not sure that'd be helpful. And even news. So for example, if I see a market, if I see news, what's important to me about the news is not necessarily what the news is. Sorry about the guys making the news, but the fact is that what's important is how does the market react to the news? If it's bullish news, does it react in a bullish way? If it's objectively bearish news and it goes up, that's instructive. I mean, that's information flow. And I mean, that's the kind of thing that
like how Jason Shapiro preaches it.
That there's a lot of information that people can get by shutting out a lot. I don't need to know what the news. I can tell there's news because there was price action change, or if there wasn't news, like why? That's also information. So I think that people do well to shut down a lot of the external input.
When you take a look at today, for example, well, I say today, in terms of where markets are at today, we're in November at this point for this recording, and we've seen the market consistently make all-time highs after all-time highs. A massive theme, obviously, at the moment being AI. Like, what does that make you when you're looking overall in terms of opportunity or not, direction or not? But like, what is it? What does your mind do when you look at the state of the market at the moment and where we're at?
What time horizon? That's where
it's very important.
Yeah. So in the big picture, I'm thinking about this is probably one of the 2 or 3 biggest bubbles of the last 100 years.
Well,
probably. Not sure yet, but that's my mind automatically goes there. I look at simple things. I look at a Buffett indicator. Okay, fine. Buffett indicator off the charts. We never had a market this distended. It's like, wait a minute, what is going? But maybe the earnings will justify it. Maybe not. What happens if we, I don't know what news is coming, but it's hard to imagine a shock that's going to trigger a massive rally of 15% or 20% over a short period of time. But I can think of a lot of things that cause a 20% sell-off. So I think there's an asymmetrical risk built into the market right now, and that's interesting. That's big picture. Little picture is I can structure a lot of interesting trades and have fantastic risk rewards that if we get even a 3 or 4% correction, I'll make a lot of money and I'll lose a tiny bit. Maybe it's a 20 or 30 to 1. I like that kind of thing. So I might spend a little bit of money on those sorts of things. I might also spend money on bets that we're not going to, for example, be above 8,000 in 2 months. But I'll structure it in a way where I can make good money if we go up towards 8,000. So I'll think about, these are more probability bets, right? It's easy to imagine a 3 or 4% correction. It's also easy to imagine another 4 or 5% rally. But if we have a 15% rally in 6 weeks, why not? So that's where I go. I start looking at all these different, literally options. I look at a lot of options, ideas, option strategies. Where can I get a good risk reward? Where can I get a great risk reward? How does that fit in with my general strategy, which is geared towards monthly cash flow from some of the option stuff that we do? So I maybe I'm not being helpful, but the fact is that we'll look at probably 20 different things, none of which have to do with trading the market for the next minute or hour or day, right?
I know that's super helpful, especially in terms of being able to see someone who's operating at 2 different levels at the same time, in terms of being able to have your big picture as well as looking at your smaller picture. And smaller picture not meaning instantly, it's looking still at the the foreseeable rest of this year, for example. Or as you said, 6 to 8 weeks. And it's good to see that because I think, as I mentioned, there's so many people who are trading very short term, and I think that's always been the case, as you mentioned. Like it's kind of what's promoted. It's kind of what the firms are very much in a volume basis.
Sure. They want us to trade constantly, 24 hours a day. But I can't think of why I'd be better equipped, than a short-term trader at Citadel to figure out the next 50 points in the S&Ps. Like, where's my edge? I don't have an edge there. I have no chance. If it's going to come down to his information flow versus mine, right? But the next 4 or 5%, I got a pretty good chance. Next 15%, I got a great chance. Because he's probably not thinking about the next 15%. He's probably thinking about the next 1% or 2%. He's probably got orders up here to sell from certain institutions or orders to buy, whatever. But so I want to focus on the parts of the market where it's not so crowded.
Do you find a lot of the time when we have guests on who share your sentiment, a lot of the time those people have a background in very large institutions and handling a lot larger size. The feedback from some of the community who are short-term traders, a lot of the time being futures traders, or forex, but futures traders in particular, they'll be like, well, I've done it, or I know people do it, or people do it, this person's done it, or this guest of yours, Riz, has done it. Like, why don't you think it? Why don't you highlight them, or whatever it may be? Would you say there's a large difference in terms of a long-term career as a trader, and especially trading with much larger size than it is for, say, short-term traders who are trading short-term, who may be trading limited size? Equally, we could go on to the topic. I don't think it's necessary, for example, but a lot of people nowadays who are coming into the markets are trading. They're not really trading real capital. They're trading the simulated capital through the name prop firms, but say funding companies. But my main point being that if you're looking to have an actual long-term career, the pathway that you're talking about is the one that people should be looking at. Versus, yes, you might have been profitable short-term for a year.
In general, I would say yes. And look, if you have someone who has a fantastic intuitive capacity, and some people do, some people don't. Fine. Some people are, totally rational, logical, and the intuition might be there, it's buried. Okay. Other people, they can feel things, and maybe they can figure out ways to trade with that. But for the most part, they don't have an edge. I think that, and people can discover very quickly if they have that. So, for example, when I joined Solomon, I knew theoretical stuff about options. I knew everything about how to price an option because I'd written the pricing model, right? And I remember the boss at the desk. He came from the fixed income side. He was part of the Merriweather Group, which is a famous group at Solomon. And he said, "No, welcome aboard. It's great to have you. We have big expectations. But if you lose any money, we're going to blow you right out of here." And like, huh, oh, welcome aboard, thank you. And it was like, well, okay, I got it. And when they said, well, you know options, you really know options. So you're not allowed to trade options for the first 3 months. You can only trade spot or futures. I'm like, huh? Yeah, we want you to figure out how the markets move, what drives them. So in other words, they forced me to do things I didn't want to do. And again, I didn't have charts. I would sit and like stare at the screens and try to figure out what to do. And eventually I started developing a feel for the market, not related to charts, because I didn't have them. And so for me, that helped me activate for me. And I think that's probably a great thing for anyone, particularly if they're doing paper trading. Try to feel the market. Try to figure out if you'd be buying or selling, where you'd be buying or selling, and whatever market they're focused on without looking at charts. Just watching the price action. Because it's a way to activate your sensitivity to the market.
So when you say price action, do you mean the actual prices of the market versus,
Sure.
as you say, the candlesticks, etc.?
Yeah, I mean, forget candlesticks, forget bars, forget all that. Just watch the price changes. I mean, this morning I sent Imran a little note. I said, well, gee, I haven't really looked at this lately, but have a look at Canada Swiss and dollars. Look interesting, don't they? And I hadn't looked at the charts. So I'm like, price, it was heavy. I don't know why it was heavy. It just appeared heavy.
I mean,
So
yeah, like,
and it was completely.
I wouldn't suggest trading just like that, though, right? But like, yeah, it is noticeable. Like, if you just leave the tape open and nothing else, you do see it, right? Like, there's just the speed increases, and you see like big orders start coming through, etc. And then it always be a sea of one-sided orders.
Trade have passed the rules of a prop firm? No, there's no chance. I would have had a stop. I had a stop on it, but it went down like I covered. But it's that process of like, I know myself well enough to know when I have a feeling, an intuitive sense of something, or whether I have to do something more mechanical and scientific based on probabilities. I wasn't based on probabilities. Our basic trades are based on probabilities. So I mean, our core book basically says we're going to make money if we go up a lot, if we go sideways, if we go down a lot. But if we drop more than 50% in 6 to 8 weeks, we're going to have to take some protection along the way. But we make a lot of money if we drop 20% or 30%. So we layer in all kinds of different spreads. And now we've even figured out ways to hedge against almost anything on the downside. Because the market, there are core inefficiencies that people can capture. But if I'm starting out as a prop trader today, I wouldn't let them look at charts. If I'm writing that down, I don't want them to look at charts. I want them just do paper trading. Try to trade without it. See, and it could be that they're good at it. It could be they're useless at it. And that's information. That's okay. Then we know that they should not be doing that kind of. They should not be focused on short-term price action as much. Because assume millions of people have the charts. Millions of people have all the moving averages and all the different momentum indicators and everything else. Like, why are they different? Because they have rules? A lot of people have rules.
So you'd say through that action, by just looking at the price action.
See if you can feel the market.
Yeah, that's where that intuitive feel comes from. If they have that,
you can activate it. You can activate it. You can get a feel. It's like, oh, this feels heavy up here. It's weird. I don't know why. Don't look at the chart. It's an interesting process.
Thing is, like, this is not like it's not particularly helpful, right? Like, a lot of it, like, what, this is such odd advice to be giving. Because, like, okay, let's say you're watching this level to break to the downside, and you just have the tape open, and you see that the tape is like picking up down to the downside. Like, one, by the time that you realize like the pickup of it breaking through, you're already late, right? Like, you should be getting in as levels like about to literally just breaking. And like, two, like, you're just leaving yourself exposed to this. You're still longing the bottom or the top. So a bit odd of advice.
someone should do that to really kind of get an answer.
6 to 8
Obviously,
weeks.
yeah.
It's training. You're training a different muscle, so to speak.
I like that. Is there, final sort of question on that? From the people you've seen do the 6 to 8 weeks, is there anything, maybe a reoccurring theme amongst the people who have been able to sort of had that intuition, or is it all just really, random?
Yeah, so it was funny because some of the people who were really good at it came from very scientific, analytical backgrounds, which surprised me. And some of the people who were more in the humanities, arts, were not able to get into that space as much. So there was, didn't know why. Didn't understand. I think what's more interesting is understanding for people to also.
Well, I think being like analytical is important, right? So you have to. Like, one, understand what you're thinking, but then also be able to analyze the opposite side of the argument, right? Like, if you're considering taking along, like, what's the bearish argument right now, and like vice versa. You have to be able to see the both sides of the coin and analyze probability from there. Whereas if you just got like two tunnel vision on one side, kind of set yourself up to get wrecked.
Do they feel entitled, truly entitled, to make certain amounts of money? Because not everyone does, and they might not realize it until they've made it, and then they won't be able to hold on to it. They'll lose it. I mean, I know a few very talented people who can make a lot of money and then lose it.
Yeah.
Because at some level they don't feel entitled.
And that goes back to that inner work that you were talking about.
It's critical.
To finish up, one thing that we've just introduced with the guest prior to yourself, Andrew, you met on his way out. It was something that was suggested to me, and it's from actually a more mainstream podcast called Diary of a CEO, where they asked their previous guest a question for the next guest. Andrew's question was more generic, which was probably the kind of the topic of this podcast anyway. So I'll ask it in a different way. His was more like, so, why did you get into trading / what is it that's gotten you this far in trading? Which I'll kind of use the back end of that question in terms of like, a lot of people I've spoken to who have been trading as long as you have, there's two elements. One, some don't trade anymore, right? And two, some stopped when trading went more electronic. So I would say, what is it that really stands out to you that's allowed you, and why do you continue to trade? And what's allowed you to have such a long, successful career? If you were to really, think deeply, is there one specific thing that you could lean on that's allowed you to have a continuous, successful career?
Well, I find markets fascinating. I mean, these are people. That's what it's comprised of people. It's like what, like
True.
it's expression of a lot of people's fears and hopes. So that number one, that's interesting. Number two, I like learning about myself, learning about the markets, and there's always something to learn. If I ever think like I've learned it all, like I'm done. Like I know that. And number three, I know if I stop, I'm just gonna start getting old and sloppy, and so I'm not interested in that either.
It keeps you sharp.
It is, right? Like this game is so fascinating. Like just in terms of like the mechanics of the game itself is like incredibly fascinating how much strategy there is. But then like when you take into account all the knowledge of just like being on top of what's happening in health and finance and tech and so on and so forth, like all the sciences, there's like an endless amount of learning. So it's very interesting to be involved in this stuff for people that are
Yeah,
curious.
you have to stay in the game. You don't have to be in this game. You can be in another game, but you need a game. I've seen it with a couple very close friends who retired a few years ago, and in 3 years, it's like they've aged 20 years.
Yeah, I've seen this. Yeah,
I mean, their body starts falling apart. They start falling downstairs. I mean, it's just they just go. I'm like,
you don't want that.
no, no, not interested in that. And also, I just have too much energy.
That's it. That's it. So then our final point then is to continue that chain. Then is our new thing. So you'll be the second guest ever for us to ask this question. So what would be your question to the next trader we host, which would be tomorrow, but or the day after? But what would be your question to the next trader?
Do you really feel deserving of success, and can you handle it without losing perspective on who you are? It's a two-part question.
I'll be super interested for the answer, and I'm sure you will be.
No, it's an odd question. I think everybody that has put in the effort to get to the point where they're on this podcast probably feels quite deserving. Enough of that. Time is it? 12:50. Yeah, I've been watching this out of the corner of my eye, right? Are we tapping this box, printing the divs, and going? Or no? We're not. How's your order book looking? I would do a juice boxing out here. I do gotta do some shopping before I go to the gym. Unfortunately. Six 636. Three six. Any questions or no? Or no? Before we do the juice box, any questions or no? Or no? Before we wrap up this Friday morning stream. 6-3. Yeah, pretty interesting zone, right? Interesting zone. I mean, looking sus, right? Looking sus. I mean, losing this level was pretty sus. Now we're seeing why. Just kind of like nuking down through this shit. Potentially about to do the next leg down. Only thing is it's Friday, right? The end of the week. So like we might just end up like hovering down here the whole weekend. And then we'll see how things develop when the market opens, like, or resumes on Sunday night. But like same story here. The story of this zone down here. Let's just draw it out. It's the same as this zone. Right? Like if we don't bounce here, then like almost certainly we're coming to these levels, right? Maybe we tap this, but like quite unlikely. Let's just look at this real quick. Because I think there was like a little bit of a cluster there. So like, yeah, maybe we tap that and SFP it and go. But don't know if I give that a very high probability, right? I don't know if I'd give that a very high probability.
Nobody believed. The math did. Built it anyway. Code execution. Marcos. They'll never understand the grind.
This shit ever loads. God damn. So slow. Six two. Yeah. Yeah, so like there is a little bit of a cluster here.
The math is the math. Marcus Trees.
How does it look like on CME?
Marcus Trees. The math is the math. The math is the math. Why Sam burning but the chart staying cold? 61.8, yeah, the level gonna hold. Palm trees leaning while I'm leaning on the tape. Blue water view, there is no better escape. Wi-Fi on the beach, yeah, the signal is strong. Watching retail panic while I'm hitting the bomb. Custom linen flowing, yeah, the fit is out the sight. I was in the trade before the sun hit the light. Trading on the shore, yeah, we doing it for real. Island rhythm, but the
Okay.
inside the value, feel the bounce, feel the vibe. Turning up the energy, providing for the tribe. The math is the math, yeah, we do it with ease. Chasing big targets in the Caribbean breeze. Too easy.
How did I do that? How the fuck? How the fuck?
Dembo kicking while the limit doors fill. I don't need the office, I just need the skill. Red stripe chilling, yeah, the lime is on the rim. Market maker swimming, watch them swim, watch them swim. Surgical with entries, call it digital grace. Leaving no footprints, leaving no trace. From the Caymans to the crib, yeah, the legacy is set. Waking up the prophet on the data driven.
I mean, realistically, the long's gonna be this, right? If anything. I just gotta look at how some stata's looking.
Golden pockets.
You're gonna have some like oscillators like building up divs in your favor. Like, I haven't been watching like the actual like order flow or like the CVDs, how they're building up. So you're gonna have to go kind of check that out on your own. Actually, let me look at it now real quick. Let me look at some of them real quick right now, actually. Because I'm curious, it's like a huge spike in open interest. I'm curious if there's like more shorts piling in here. Because then in that case, it kind of be like a similar story to yesterday. We're like eventually like setting up a short squeeze back up if we tap this and start to reverse. Assuming we even lose the low, right? Might just go from here. Wrong credentials. The fuck? What the fuck? But yeah, pretty huge spike in open interest actually. God damn. And there is like some signs of absorption here. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, I mean, if you look at the lower time frame, like yes, shorts are piling in here, but they're like fine. Then also like some shorts got trapped here and longs got trapped right here. So How many longs are left from earlier? And like a lot of the longs in this range are still open. So looking a little bit suspicious for the long side, open interest. But if they end up closing out down here, then sure. Just kind of keep that stuff in mind. How's the order book looking there? A lot of orders sitting down here too in the order book, interestingly enough. And our alarm's going off. Okay, we gotta cut here pretty soon. We'll just kind of say like finishing the zone, right? Retesting, or like liquidity grab at 7.5, 786, previous week value area low. Maybe the negative point of control at 886. If anything, you can try and like scale all of them in one. It's like one big pyramid. But like we were talking about it earlier in the stream, whenever we had this chart open and we were talking about the head and shoulders, like this is probably going to be like the more interesting level. We kind of talked about multiple reasons why, but probably gonna be like the next higher quality setup. Whether it ends up bouncing or like for real or not, be determined. Could just do this. And also here's the world where it just kind of starts to melt down like one of these things. Well, until we start to see the price action getting there, what the order flows is looking like, we can't really anticipate it. I guess in terms of the open interest in a higher time frame, what are we looking at?
By the time the candle closes, yeah, the work is already done. No stress in my spirit, no fear in my soul. Yeah. Just a pixel perfect entry, yeah, I'm in full control. We don't trade on feelings, we don't trade on hope. We just ride the volatility like a tightrope. From Bali to Ibiza, yeah, the view is elite. Watching all the top longers facing defeat. The math is the math, yeah, the math is the math. Living my best life. Clearing out the path. Exotic locations, yeah, the energy is right.
I mean, yeah, there shouldn't be like too big of a cascade there, honestly. Like, there's not that many longs. So I can't imagine we having something mega meltdown, but if these things are starting to roll over, it's quite a lot more likely. Say that. So yeah, whatever, just keep these in mind. Keep these two things in mind. Both very like order flow dependent. Kind of monitor the open interest, what's happening. I'll probably leave the stream on with the open interest for a while, so you can use that for now until I turn it off. And the higher time frame stuff. Higher time frame plans discussed earlier on stream / previous streams / Discord. Kind of like these lower levels, we've kind of already been talking about this for a while, so, and like even lower. So all that's been covered. For the shorts, a bit tough to say, right? We talked about like this yesterday, so you kind of missed the opportunity to get on this move down at this point. I mean, first and foremost, the higher time frame stuff kind of applies. We didn't talk about it today, but we did talk about it in previous streams and on Discord, so it's still valid. Where was the volume node for this? Probably something like this, right? But depending on where we go, but like Hard to say, because okay, the problem with like it's the same kind of thing we were talking about yesterday. Where like at the end of the day, like this is like a pretty big magnet, and we're just leaving more and more and more unswept highs, right? So it might be just the same story as yesterday. Where like suppose that we close the TPO today with the naked point of control up here somewhere, and then we like retrace up into the zone. Probably kind of the same plan as yesterday. It's kind of like either one, if data's looking hella bearish, you can try and get filled via limits, depending on how previous day value is looking and whatnot. Or you follow the same plan with like the VWAP loss into like the breakdown. Only issue with that is going to be it's the weekend, right? So it's going to be like low volume. So like VWAP not going to be nearly as important. Same with like the volume levels, like as they're developing. Just keep that all in mind. And also like the issue is like the risk of this just ending up finishing the move, squeezing through all these highs. It's still a risk. So just keep all that context, kind of decide, look at the data, decide for yourself. Dun, dun, dun. Like that, yeah, MPOC top. Of local impulse. Dun, 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 dun. And it'd be like the value or high of this, right? Kind of like a bearish retest of this whole zone. Six, 5. Yeah, interesting level, right? Like basically the weekly POC Valeria lows down here. So definitely some confluence of forming around there for the various reasons. But yeah, same as yesterday, like be quite mindful of the open interest on these shorts. Because like there is a world where this ends up being some like huge squeeze if they don't close out on the retrace back up, which they did yesterday. So like so far shorts are being like quite disciplined. But if they aren't, then yeah, you might get caught slipping. Like your ass squeezed, boy. I think I should do it. If anything changes, we'll see. I mean, it's quite early in the day. So if towards like the market close or into the evening, if anything particularly interesting is going on, and like I get some time to sneak away and pop on Discord, I'll put an update in there if it's needed. And in terms of streaming tomorrow, TBD. I'll probably do the same thing as today, where I just kind of like pop through for a bit, even if it's not that long. And worst case, I don't stream. And if something is worth updating, I'll post in the Discord. And if not, I'm just gonna chill, enjoy the weekend, right? Enjoy the good weather, go out for some nice food, probably go on a nice hike, etc. Anyway, we'll be back soon. For now, I'm out here. Gotta get shit done, unfortunately. How's this stuff coming along? Still hanging in there. Okay. What's everyone else doing? Dun, dun, dun. Okay. Okay, let's do a chat shout out and get her going. Scroll. Shout to Mr. Vex. Mr. Vex 123 nerding out. Okay. What else we got in here? Shout out to Future the OG, right? One of the channel OGs. Shout out to Future, always in here nerding out as well. I think that was it, right? We got Harris at the very end. Shout out to Harris Kamal. And yeah, so we'll reconnect based on how things play out. I'm out here. Gotta get shit done, unfortunately. Stay safe, do not get got, guys. Stick to the plans and keep juicing. For now, I'm out. Later. 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 Later.